The learning outcome for this module is to understand ways to more effectively solve problems or generate high-quality solutions. Let's get started.
We're going to discuss the action steps that you need to take to more effectively solve problems or generate high-quality solutions. The first thing that you need to do is to understand the situation you're looking at. This is defining the problem that you're trying to solve. You want to ask yourself, what's the problem? You want to ask yourself, what is not the problem? And then why does this problem exist? You should try to ask that question why as much as possible until you find the underlying cause of the issue that you're experiencing. While you're doing this, try to remove try to remove your emotions from the equation so that you can look at the issue as objectively as possible. A great way to do this is to think of yourself standing outside a house and the problem is inside the house. You're looking at it through the window as just an outside observer. By doing so, you're able to objectively look at the problem and describe it to yourself and not attach the emotions that you might have to that problem. You should always resist making decisions when you're upset or you're frustrated or you're overwhelmed, especially if it's an important decision. Some criteria to think about if a decision is important is whether or not the result will affect you or others for at least a month. Or maybe the decision is controversial. Or maybe the decision will be highly visible. For anything where the decision feels like it's going to be an important decision, take your time. Make sure that you really allow yourself the space to make the highest quality decision possible. If you're receiving a request for a decision from an outside source, from one of your team members or a partner or a client, just be clear with them and say things like, thanks for the request. It's a great idea. Let me look at the options that I have and I'll get back to you by a certain date, either the end of the week or by the end of next week or something like that. That way you've basically given yourself that space to gather information, look at the solutions that you have and make a decision about which way you want to go. Once you've understood the situation, the next thing is to brainstorm the possible solutions that you have. Think about the problem that you're looking at and the sources of information that you have available to you. Based on this pile, this data set that you have, just throw up on a whiteboard or on a flip chart as many possible solutions as you can think of. Bring somebody else into the equation if you want. The critical thing is don't judge the solutions as you're putting them up there. Just get them out there and throw them up there. Next, you want to play it out. You want to identify the advantages and disadvantages of each of the solutions that you've brainstormed. And you really shouldn't rely on your own opinion for each of these solutions. This is a great time to ask others to come in and give you their opinion about what the upsides and downsides of each of the options that you've identified are. And especially don't just think about the short-term consequences of your decision. It's kind of like playing a game of chess. If you make this decision today, other people may make decisions based on that, and then consequences may follow down the road. So you want to make sure to try to look longer term to determine whether or not the decision you're making will, what kind of ripple effects it will have. And then ultimately, as you find these disadvantages or you find these, you look at the longer term domino effect of the decision that you'll make, ask yourself, is this acceptable? Are these, are some of the things that might happen, are they things that we can deal with? Or are these disadvantages of this decision, is it something that you can either prevent, minimize, or ultimately deal with? And if so, write down how you would do that. The last thing is to set the criteria that you're going to use to solve this problem. Think about what an ideal solution might look like. What really makes it ideal in your mind. Once you've got that ideal solution, write down a few criteria you can use to pick the best solution from your list to ultimately get to that ideal solution that you've chosen. You can take these, the list that you've created, you can take the different solution options that you have and sort them into three piles. One could be the best pile, one could be the okay pile, and one could be the no good pile. Obviously, take the no good pile and move it to the side. And then from the best and the okay pile, ask yourself which solution most closely meets the criteria that you've chosen in order to get to that ideal solution. When you're going through this process, it's okay, and obviously because it's an important decision, it's probably ideal or desirable to sleep on it. And then finally, run your thought process by 2 or 3 other people who think differently than you do. Listen to their feedback and then adjust your decision appropriately. Tweak it so that it's getting you to where you want to be as best as possible.
We hope you found this module on problem solving useful. Remember, there's a complete transcript of this video below, and there are downloadable takeaways that you can use offline. Also, please take a moment to give us a comment about how you're solving problems more effectively today, or leave us a comment about how we can improve this section. Thank you.